I thought he was a natty, because look at this guy. But then we went over his blood work, and then that showed there's no signs of anything. Coach Greg, and I'm here with Hussein Farhat. Am I saying it right?
Perfectly.
It's probably not right. We're in Montreal. We just finished getting a workout in, and we're going to get a check-in. And so he's competing in, we don't exactly know how long. We want to make sure he's ready. We want to pick the exact competition that's right for him. And remember, he's 100% natural. In the last, let's call it month, how much weight have you lost?
I went from 183, I think last time we talked. This morning I was 174.
Okay, so he's about down 9 pounds. But one thing you need to realize is it's not all body fat. When you first start going on a diet, your glycogen stores go down, and so you're going to lose some water weight. You'll notice that the scale, it falls really quickly, and then after that, it slows down. So what do you find you've been losing each week, the last couple weeks? Is it just maybe a bit over a pound? What are you at?
I dropped pretty fast at the beginning. Probably like 2-3 pounds, probably water weight at the beginning. Now it's probably like a pound a week, probably, yeah.
Okay, and as you know, 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat, and so that counts as about a 500 calorie daily deficit. And what are your average calorie intake per day?
I'm hovering around 1,800, maybe 2,000 at the most. I'm keeping it clean right now, yeah.
You don't need a lot of food. People overestimate. They think, oh, he's a bodybuilder. He's probably eating 3,000 or 4,000 calories, just like the Wolverine. What's the guy's name?
Yeah.
Jackman?
Yeah.
6,000 calories of
Tilapia and peas, yeah.
yeah, and beans, and it's like, bro, no, that's not what you're doing. It's cap. He's full of shit. He's lying. Plus, he's not even natural. In case you didn't know, I thought he was a natty, because look at this guy. But then we went over his blood work, and then that showed there's no signs of anything. Now, it doesn't mean he didn't take things years ago. But the thing is, when you're doing a bodybuilding competition and you're dieting, if you're dieting natural, you're going to lose all that muscle while you're dieting. When he does the contest, which it's going to be a drug-tested competition, it's going to show the world that, hey, you can actually look good when you're natural. Today, we want to do your body fat percentage, or see where he's at. And oh, before I forgot, I brought him the cookbook. He's obviously got recipes, but he has to have the actual hard copy so that it's just easier, convenient. Now, on his diet plan, he has a bunch of recipes from the book and stuff, but when you have the book, it's the next level. There's pictures and everything. It's just a lot more enjoyable. All right, we're gonna do his body fat percentage. I'm gonna use the Skinfold calipers, Lang Skinfold calipers. This is gonna estimate his body fat. Now, my opinion is this is about the second best way to test body fat, which is right after my laser eyes. Truth be told, an MRI is the only way to get 100% accurate estimation. People often think the DEXA scan is the golden standard. The DEXA scan is usually up to 15% off. You could be way above or way below the body fat that it actually tells you. But this is a good estimation.
There you go.
That's your own clothing line, that shirt, is it not?
Yeah.
And so if you want to get some of his clothes, where can they check these things out?
Gladiolus Apparel, we're going to be launching in September.
Gladiolus? Gladiolus.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start by testing your arms body fat. We'll start with biceps and we'll go to triceps. We're trying to pinch between the elbow here and the top of the shoulder, so anywhere right in the middle. And I'm just getting a Skinfold pinch. Okay, and there's really almost no body fat here. There's 2.4 millimeters. Next, the tricep. This is where women usually store a lot of fat. Men usually don't have very much. Usually I like to go close to where that mark is, because every time you test body fat, if you go by a slightly different spot, it could be a little bit off. And then relax. And usually this is where guys are tensing, and the more loose the skin is, the easier to test. So you can see it's very tight to the arm. In comparison, if you look at mine, look how easy it is to test body fat. It's loose, very loose skin. Skin is a lot tighter, so it's gonna be a bit harder to get a good measurement. And what you usually do is test 3 times and then take the middle number, because it could be a lot lower or a lot higher, depending on exactly where you pinch. You might do it wrong. 4.1. Next, subscapula, under the scapula. Sub, as in below. So what we do is we feel for the bone right here. Found it. I push his shoulder back. It's right under there, and you're testing at 45 degrees. That's where the natural Skinfold line lies. This number usually a lot higher in men and a lot lower in females. 8.8 is the median. Last but not least, we're going to do suprailiac crest. So just put one arm up like this, and I'm measuring in line with the armpit, finding his hip bone here, and then I'm pinching at 45 degrees right here. And I'll do that a few times. And so 4.1.
The big reveal. It's stressful.
Yeah, the reveal.
The tension.
So his total millimeters comes up to 19.4, and so I have to look at the chart, and it's going to come with 7.7%. Now, many of you are saying, well, it's not accurate because he didn't pinch his legs, but it's an estimate. And looking at his physique, I would say he's close to that. I would say he's close to, 8% body fat, just slightly lower. And so to me, it's pretty much right on. Now, we could add in extra spots, we could pinch his legs and so on, but a lot of people have really tight skin here, and you try to pinch and it doesn't get a good pinch like that. Like my skin is very loose, but it's a good estimate. 7.7% body fat, and to be like truly like peeled, 5% for a natural guy is about as lean as you're gonna get. If they lower themselves lower than that, you're probably starting to lose a lot of muscle. And so the average guy dieting, about 0.5% per week is realistic, so 7.7%. So realistically, in 5 to 6 weeks, you could be stage ready to compete. And so the contest that we're looking at, we're in November, and so technically we could probably up your calories in your diet, make it a little bit easier, because there's no reason to just diet down too quickly. There's plenty of time. He could be ready for mid-October.
Awesome. Yeah.
A lot of people, first of all, say that you're lying about your height. Now, I'm 5'6", and he's about 5'11". Now, if we just look, does he not look significantly taller than me? And so you can say I'm a 5'4" manlet, but I'm promising you I don't lie about my height. I'm exactly 5'6", and so he's 5'11". What category should he be competing in? Well, the first thing you need to know is that he can compete in any category, in as many categories as he wants. So you could do men's physique, classic physique, and bodybuilding. You can compete in all of them, and that's technically what I suggest you do. What is the weight limit for 5'11"? It's about 220 pounds, and he's about 174 right now. And so he's about 40, 50 pounds under the weight cap for classic physique. Doesn't mean he's too small for classic physique. It just means that the guys at the best at the top level in the world at your height would have almost 50 pounds more muscle than he does, which is a lot. But it doesn't mean that he can't compete and do well in that weight class. Now, if I compare you to the best guys in the world at pro level, you would be more like men's physique. Okay, these guys are a lot bigger. But it doesn't mean that you can't win bodybuilding. Especially in a natural competition, there's not going to be many guys that are this big in natural bodybuilding. So in a drug-tested show, you'll see everyone is a lot smaller. And so just because you're not as big as an open-class bodybuilder doesn't mean you can't compete in that. But is there a certain class that you're like more like, oh, I just really like this class more than another?
So like the obvious answer is of course classic. Everybody loves classic, but I feel like I would do better in men's physique. Yeah.
Right. So if you want to do classic, you definitely should, and then do men's physique as well, and maybe not even bother with bodybuilding. I mean, you can decide more at the show. Mm-hmm. But we may as well go through the poses for classic physique because, well, you can use those poses for anything. So let's just start with the relaxed front pose just to see where you stand. You want your heels close together and your toes pointing out. What you want to do is to make sure that your legs are flared out. So you always have to flex your legs as you're doing, because a lot of people, they just stand like this and they're not flexing. So you have slight bend of the knee and you're pushing outwards so that you can see the legs everywhere. And obviously you're going to have like very short shorts and you can see all the muscles up here. Some people, if they have really small legs, sometimes they'll point their toes out even more, and it makes your legs even bigger that way. You can see your hamstrings on this side. And some people, which is usually a mistake, will stand more like this straight on. You don't have as much width as if you turn your toes out. Okay. So you always want to have slight toes out. Yes. And standing upright, you want to have your shoulders as wide as possible to give you that X frame, and then your waist tight. And so you're basically blowing out your air. And that's the pose. That's exactly it right there. Your waist is so small and your shoulders are so wide that it's giving you a great, the illusion of the X-frame. I would say in comparison, your legs are behind your upper body. Like overall, if you're looking at your physique, your upper body is more of a strength than your legs. So if you had a shirt on and I looked at your legs, I'd say, yeah, he looks pretty good. But in comparison, the upper body's a lot better. And so if you were in men's physique, you definitely stand up more, but certainly you have enough legs to do men's physique and not be like, oh, what's wrong with this guy? So that looks great. Let's do a front double bicep. Have you been practicing, by the way? Have you been practicing anything? No. So yeah, the more times you do this, the easier it gets. And so just give it a shot and we'll see if there's anything missing, if there's anything that we can add to it. Very nice. You can see right away. I was looking, is his biceps going to be higher than the delts? So many people pose like this, makes them look small, so that's up. And now with your legs, you have two options here. You kind of like can lean on one side and have the legs out. It gives you a bit more aesthetics where one's legs out to the side. And so you pose like this. You can even practice with one arm up and look up. Kind of like that Z's pose. Very artistic because when you're doing your routine, you can do every pose that you want. You can do this and then you can do that. And there's so many things we can lead from there. And even in the front double bicep pose, you could always start with this pose and then at the end just finish it like that. And as soon as you change what your arms are doing, the judges and the audience are all gonna look at you. If everyone is standing stationary like this and you suddenly do that, they're gonna be like, wait, what did that guy do? And the more eyes are on you, the better you're gonna do. Very good to do that. And so you can practice with the two legs. So you have the one leg out, I like that look. And the other option would be just straight on, standard, not as exciting, more boring. I like to be off, off center a bit, have one leg out to the side. So I think that's a good look. Very, very good. So you can see the peak bicep looks good, chest, shoulders, everything really good. Okay, so the front double bicep. Now, let's just show you a transition so that you can go from the front to the back during a routine artistically. So you're in the front double bicep pose and you're trying to think, what could I do next? You're perhaps like this. What you want to think of doing is to turn to the rear with a little bit of grace. So all you have to do is put one leg over the other and spin to the back, and you're literally in your back double bicep pose, and you can just spin back to the front. And if you keep practicing this, you'll get good at it where you can just keep rotating. Give that a shot and see what it looks like.
Put my leg here?
Yeah. One leg over. Plant the leg first.
Okay.
And then twist around mostly on the balls of your feet. Now, this right leg, watch mine, put it more behind you. If you put it up here, you're gonna spin up back here. You're not gonna turn in the right, like 180-degree position. So try to get it over to the other side so that your feet are kind of in line. And then when you spin over, your feet will kind of still be in line. And when you're to the back, the only difference is instead of flexing your quad this way, when you're to the back, you have to flex your hamstring. So versus pushing your weight out to the front like that and getting your leg out here, when your leg's in the back, you're gonna pull out your hamstring so that you can flex that muscle. So that's basically the only difference. But your upper body's in the same position.
Okay, so I do it like this.
Yep.
Take back.
Yep, and then twist and flex the hamstring. Yep. And then do it again from the front, like stay right there, leg over, spin, and to the front. And then you're here, you can go back to there. You can come back here. You can spin your arms like this. And if you keep practicing this, like you just keep hitting it,
Yeah.
it becomes routine all the time. You just keep hitting it, and then you can, and from here, you literally can do the bone arrow pose.
Okay.
You can come back up. Go from the bone arrow to the front double bicep, to the look in the air, back down, bone arrow. And oftentimes if you look where your arms are pointing,
Okay.
so if you do this, your eyes are looking up to your hands. So your front double bicep here, you look up, bone arrow, you're looking at your fingertips, so you're staring right down the line right from there. And now, you see you're here like this, wouldn't it look good to do this again? So you just spun around,
Okay.
and you're like this. Then you can come back like that, you can come up like this, you can do the circle, and you're back here, circle, and you come here. And so these are the transitions that make a routine go from being just like okay to like, wow, that guy really practices
Yeah,
posing.
it's like a dance.
Exactly, because you're from a back double bicep.
Yeah.
You can come here like this and do that. Now, the other pose, which is the back lat spread, if you start like this, you can then just come to the side, come back. And everyone's looking at what are your arms doing. As long as you're moving your arms around, people are like, oh, that's cool. You're in a lat spread, you always have this option. It's always there for you. I would continue practicing the spin because the spin, just the one spin can make your routine go from just being like average to like, that guy practiced posing.
So I do like this.
It's actually quite good, yeah. Yeah, your back posing is quite good actually.
Yeah.
And you add the music to it, and then every time you hear a beat, that's when you do it. It's like
Okay.
boom, boom, boom. Every time you hear the boom, you do a pose like boom, boom, boom. And if you can practice a routine and hit the beat, it'll always look good.
Okay.
And you can do the same moves over and over to any song. They could play a random song you've never heard ever in your life, and you kind of get used to the rhythm of it, and you're like, okay, boom, 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 and it's like boom, boom, boom. All right, let's see the back double bicep just from the ground up. Let's just see a back relax pose, so just turn around. All right, let's see. You want to make sure you're hitting the hamstrings. Your heels should be a bit closer together.
Yeah. This.
Yeah, slight bend to the knee. Yeah. And let's just see a back lat, like kind of like a relaxed pose, like you're just
Okay. Oh,
like
okay.
men's physique, kind of just standing there. We'll see what it looks like. It's good. Like, so what's standing out is the waist is very small. This is good. Can you go a bit wider, like this, width out there a bit more? Yeah, I think that's a bit better. All right, now do a back double bicep from there. So one leg back. So always start from the ground up. So for every pose, think, okay, I'm gonna do my legs first, and then I'll worry about my poor body. So as soon as they call out the pose, okay, back double bicep, and you're like, okay, back double bicep, okay. I gotta make sure I do this. So I often will flex my leg and then just feel to make sure that it's tense. Because sometimes when you're new, you don't really flex the muscle, but you'll feel it, it's there.
Yeah.
And then once it's flexed, okay, now I can do the back.
Okay. So let's see you call it now.
Back double bicep. Now take your time more.
Yeah.
Put your leg back, feel it, put your hand on your hamstring there. Yep, get it, set it, okay, and then hit the back double bicep pose. Back and up. Probably could put your hands a little bit lower. It's still, yep, about right there. Yep. Good. And relax. And then every time you relax, you don't actually relax.
Okay.
You go from flexing here really hard to, okay, now I'm flexing here really hard. So you're just standing relaxed, but you're tensing the whole time. The hamstrings are always still flexed. And let's hit a back lat spread. Even though in classic physique we don't do it, if you do decide to do bodybuilding, and it's something that you might do during a routine. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, every now and what I notice a lot more, the back is not so much worried, is the hamstrings will flex and then relax and then flex and relax. But what you want to do is set up two-way mirrors so that you have a mirror in front of you and a mirror behind you so that you can actually see what you're doing. Like you'll see the mirror and you can just angle it at your house and you'll be able to see your back and your hamstrings. Because once you get used to what it looks like, because on stage you don't have mirrors, but you need to get used to it with mirrors, and then when you take the mirrors away, you'll be fine.
Okay. I'm trying to look at this one.
Oh, you have something up in there. Okay, cool. Nice. And then transition, try from there, do the lat spread. Now, stick out this arm out here to the left. Just keep your lat spread like that, like this. And then just do one arm like that, and then do the other arm like that. And then you can try going up like this, and then a circle like that. Then you're getting all the transitions. So when you turn to the rear, you can start with a lat spread, and then do one arm up, and do like a back, and then the other arm up for a back, and then the Z's pose, or the, spin around pose, the bone arrow pose, and you basically have all the different poses all from the back all at the same time. And with the mirror in practice, you'll get used to whatever is your favorite kind of transition. Like everyone's different. Like some people like their bone arrow pose more than the other, and it's just like you get used to it. Or you might not like this pose. You're like, I don't like that pose. But if it's something you like, you just do it.
Yeah, you need practice. But this one, I like this one.
From the front, it definitely looks good. You could always be like this, and you could always, yeah. And depending on different guys, like Lee Priest could do this. I mean, you see the size of his forms, it wouldn't look good on me. But, depending on the guy. Let's try a thigh and abdominal. And before we do the thigh and abdominal, we're gonna do the vacuum. So, let's see how to blow out all your air. And so from there, Then blow it out so that you have the ab pose real tight. So you're blowing out your air and sucking in here at the same time. So you should be tight in the oblique area.
Okay.
Now I like the abdominal pose more for you than the vacuum. But
Yeah.
if you want to do a vacuum, potentially try a vacuum bicep pose. Like a frontable bicep like this.
Okay. Okay.
You blow out all your air, frontable bicep versus a frontable bicep where you're flexing and getting that. Bit higher in the arms there. And let's try it with the abdominals flexed completely. And let's see how it looks. Let's see how they compare. They both kind of look good. I don't know. I think you could get away with doing both. You could do one pose where you're sucking in. You should watch Chris Bumstead do his poses and try to like copy some of what you think he looks best is, because your waist is small. I feel like you can imitate his look. You know, you're obviously smaller, but it have the same kind of like look.
Okay, definitely. Yeah, I'll do some research. Yeah, I need just to practice a bit more. I've never done this before. This is my second time.
Yeah, and the vacuum pose is so, it hurts. You have to get used to blowing out all your air till the point of it almost hurts your stomach and then sucking in. And it almost feels like you're gonna pass out. It takes time to get used to. Because if you can hold a vacuum for like 20 seconds, you're probably not doing the vacuum hard enough, because it should feel like, oh my God, I'm like sucking in. It's like I'm gonna die.
I'll try it now.
And then you have to try your if it's a thigh and abdominal, you're probably gonna want one leg in front like this. You can push down your leg at the end like that. Yeah. Straight leg like this. Depends, like if this muscle pops out a lot, you might want to just hold this leg up and do that artistic kind of look, and then at the end like that. Especially if you get super cut, and like some guys get like Kai Green will have like striations all up and down the leg.
Yeah.
If that gets really lean, you're gonna want to do that. But if it doesn't, there's no point in doing it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes once I get.
Exactly. Once your body fat goes like 6s and 5s. Yep. That looks good though. Yeah. All right, transitioning to, let's do the side chest.
Okay.
So side chest, you always start from the ground up again. So you'll be in the front like this, and then they'll be like, okay, side chest, and you always do the best side. So you might have a better side, this side or this side.
Probably this one.
So whatever side's better, you're gonna start by flexing down and flexing the calves. So as soon as you're on the side, you should be on your toe, and you should be trying to flex the calf muscles so they can see. Also, your knee is bent enough so that you can see your hamstring. This part of your leg is pushing here, and it's making your hamstring pop out. The more you sit down, the more it's gonna pop out here, but you look shorter versus taller, so it's hard to know what to do until you practice enough and you get a feel of like, okay, I look better down low versus high. Everybody's different. Once you're set in the legs, then there's really nothing to it here. You just kind of get into the side and turn over. That looks good. The chest is popping. The delts are looking good. Biceps are big. I mean, it looks great. There's two ways you can do this. You can kind of get your arm a bit lower, and then that'll show this muscle, and you blow out all your air, and then you have that oblique, that tight oblique look. Or you can do more like Arnold and come up real high. So there's your two options, and you can actually do both, especially in a routine. You can come up high, like this would be more like how Arnold's doing it, a bit, you know, a bit more upright, versus you're in tight here and you're almost flexing that way. And so from this side, you can go from like a side chest, you just wrap your arm around, and then you have your tricep twisting over here. And you want to keep spinning, twisting your body out, because the judges, some are here and some are here. So you want to like twist so you can see everything, because they're looking at the chest too. Like it might be called a side tricep, but you're trying to show your chest and your abs and everything, and even your legs. So for you, Upper body's big strength. Your legs look better from the front. From the side, there's less width, so you need to work more on your hamstring thickness overall, like your legs. That's why you're 175 pounds and you're 5'11". It's like, how is that possible? It's because you don't have as much weight in the legs. That's why I'm shorter, but I weigh 10 pounds more, because I have more leg mass, and I'm also heavier in here.
Yeah.
So that's just basically the difference.
That is going to be good. I started having the striations.
Striations in the tris, yeah. When I tested his body fat, his arms were very, very lean, so you can see. The stomach here had 4. When you're super peeled, it'll probably be around 3 millimeters. And your back is at 8.5. That could still come down quite a bit. So you're carrying a bit more fat in the back, hardly any in the arms, but it'll just keep getting lower as you go. And in case you're wondering, if he competed looking like this, he probably would, no one would say, oh, you're off, you're bad. Like you're lean enough that if the competition were tomorrow, you would still probably win, in my opinion. Against, in a natural show, probably still win. But it doesn't mean you can't try more. But like, no one would say, oh, you suck, you didn't diet. They'd be like, okay, this is a good look. Like most people at the show, at a natural show, will not be this.
Okay.
Like the average person is, a lot of times they're at 9-10% body fat, so.
Yeah, I still have a couple weeks to go. I think, how much do you think we could get to, the lowest I could get to?
5s.
Okay.
I think that realistically you'll be that lean. Like the leaner you get, the crazier it'll look. Like every percent, when you're like 20%, you go to 19, you almost don't notice it. But when you're 7 to 6, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And 6 to 5 and 5 to 4, it's like holy, it's ridiculous. And every percent leaner gets that much harder. The leaner you get, the hungrier you get, and you have no energy in the gym. Would you say that your energy is good, or have you noticed a drop off? Like, are you getting weaker?
For now, it's fine. So yeah, yesterday I did my push day. I was doing incline bench, and I was doing dumbbells. Went for like 125 each side. And usually I do like maybe 6 reps. I managed to get 8, so I'm somehow getting stronger sometimes. I just make sure I'm having carbs before my workout, and then I don't eat for the whole day, and I just eat at the end, just protein. Just to get my calories.
And so another thing to be careful of is dieting. The leaner you get, the more likely you are to be injured. And so when you're doing sets of 6 and now it's 8, I would recommend to go to 10. And just to be more and more cautious, the leaner you are, the more dry you become, especially like peak week, you have to just keep saying, I don't really want to get injured. Like the muscles don't get bigger when you can't train them. Yeah. So it's safer as you diet down to go with lighter weights for higher reps. And then when you're in the off season, like maybe at 12% body fat, that's when you can push like the really heavy weights and not really worry about getting injured.
Yeah, I'll make sure next time I go like maybe to a bit lower and do more reps. But it's fine. So far I haven't seen like any energy issues. I just make sure I'm fasting, because if I eat throughout the day, I'm gonna go to bed hungry. So yeah, it's definitely easy this way.
Yeah, every body's different. Like some people function better through intermittent fasting. Some people do better by eating like 10 meals a day. In the end, all that really matters is calories in, calories out. Like if you're eating 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day and he's 175 pounds, he has this much muscle, it's obviously a deficit. He's losing weight. You can see he's 7.7%. He doesn't need to diet quite that hard because the competitions aren't coming up. If you had a show in 2 weeks, I'd say, okay, we probably need to push it. Maybe we'll do 3 hours cardio a day to get shredded. But with so many weeks coming, no big deal. You can just kind of cruise in. It's easy. Because what were you at the start? At your heaviest body fat, what did you guess you were like 13 maybe?
Yeah, probably 14. Yeah, it was when I was 189, probably like around 14. Yeah.
So his fattest off-season kind of bulk is still under 15% body fat. That's why when it comes down to dieting, it's so much easier. That's why I really recommend, if you're a bodybuilder, try not to go above 15% body fat. I mean, you can, say you're 20%, but then you're dieting for so long and it really becomes a nightmare. And the longer you get used to being at, say, 12%, the easier it almost becomes a normal feeling. Like, I mean, I'm old, I'm 48, but I feel normal at my body fat is around 8%. I feel normal like this, but when I was younger, like in my 30s, I would have felt like garbage at 8%. I had to be like 12. So the older you get and the longer you've been at a certain body fat, your body kind of acclimatizes to almost, it just gets used to it and you can handle it.
Yeah, I would say I'm that, I feel like maybe the reason why I'm not this, I don't feel really bad right now. I've always been around this body fat, like maybe 7, probably a bit more, maybe 10.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling good for now. Maybe once it gets lower, maybe 6, 5. Now I'm gonna start having like some energy issues.
Yeah, the last 3 weeks usually is when you really start suffering, when you're like, okay, I don't like this too much. And then at that point you have to start saying, is it worth dieting much more to do the show? And it depends on the level you're at. If you're going for a pro card or trying to win a pro bodybuilding competition, it's like, okay, I gotta keep pushing it. But if you're just doing your first show, there's no reason to kill yourself.
Yeah, no, I'll push it regardless. I wanna win.
He definitely sounds like he's motivated. The diet sounds like it's on point. His body fat percentage is really low. Still got 2 months to get ready for this competition, and so I think everything is on point. And so this is what you want to see. You don't want to have to rush into it. So many people at this point from a competition, they might hire me for a show, and I'm like, how are you doing a show in 8 weeks? Like, they don't even look like they've ever been on a diet. But when you're at this body fat percentage this far out, it's really easy. In case you want to follow this guy's journey, Hussein Farhat, follow him on Instagram, follow him on YouTube as well. We'll let you know how he's doing as he prepares for his first ever bodybuilding competition. If you're interested in supplements, Turk Builder and GO2 Max, you haven't even tried these things yet.
Never, not yet.
And so he looks like this without even using that. Imagine with that, Turk Builder gives you so much more energy. You can just train hard in the gym, which is great when you're dieting because you're like, you feel like garbage and you just have that extra boost. And GO2 Max is great for cardio, and so hopefully he'll give that a try and we'll see what happens. So if you're interested in these supplements, click the link in the description, code Greg, 15% off. And until next time, we're out.